Hey guys, Tim here, and welcome to Pfister-Witz Farms. Figured I'd do a little video to explain to everybody what I've been doing out here all season and what I got done today. So the farm is out here on my buddy Brian's land. He agreed to put it out here because, as you see, there's plenty of land available, obviously much more than you can see, and he can see his neighbor's house right here. So by putting these hops up, hopefully by the third year they'll get big and bushy and help obscure the view from his neighbor. I've got 18 or 19 plants, I suddenly can't remember, growing out here on a single wire trellis. The trellis system is made out of 2x4s screwed together, and then this aircraft cable guide out to hold tension on the whole rig. The cable out here is 13 feet high, and that's sufficient for these second year plants, first year in the ground. As you can see, a few of them have reached the top, but they're not going crazy, not like at my first year. Well, hesitate to call the first year farm a farm. It's just my parents' place with 2-3-year-old plants. Now, what we've got here, I've got Golding's plants. I've got one Centennial right here, and all these guys down at the end are Cascades. I had a little bit of a problem on this Cascade plant in particular, and his neighbor, who's not too happy. There seemed to be a bit of a watering issue, and I promised Brian that he would not have to constantly babysit these plants. I moved to Oshkosh and can't get out here as regularly as I used to be able to. I'm only up here every weekend. And I can't expect Brian to be out here watering them every night, unfortunately. It's just too much of a burden on him. And unfortunately, we went through a dry spell where the plants were getting pretty mad because this soil is pretty sandy, and the plants seem to like it as long as they're getting enough rain. And we went for, I don't know, maybe 10 days there of high temperatures without any rain, and you can see the repercussions in the leaves. So what I came out here to do today was set up a drip irrigation system. I don't know why this seems so dark. There we go. And what I did, I spent a few dollars, not a lot. It's relatively inexpensive to build, but I got myself a couple of 5-gallon pails, and then I decided to go with the drip irrigation system, or it's a kit available at Harbor Freight. The price is right, and you couldn't have found these little, I don't know what you want to call them, the little actual drip guys down here. It's kind of just an orifice that goes in line. They were $6 or $7 a kit. I needed 2 kits to finish this yard, so I just couldn't have built anything cheaper. They also included all of the hardware here. I needed to go to the bucket. All I had to do was drill a hole about 13/16 or so in the bucket and epoxy the one fitting in place. There is a screen in there to filter out any dirt that might get in. Mosquitoes are horrible today. And then the line just goes to each of the plants. And like I tried to show you there, you can see the discs closest to the buckets are actually putting out a healthy spray, not just a drip. I had a problem where once you got about 7 plants out, you were getting no water. That's due to some rules of physics that I won't bother explaining right now. But you can see here, yep, this guy's just dripping. And as you got farther down the line, you didn't have any water at all. Well, the solution to this was pretty simple. As you saw it back on the other bucket, all I did was I ran a T off of each supply, off each bucket here, and I drilled that one before I had any coffee. That's this morning, that's why it's off center. But now I've got pressure supply on both ends, and the middle plants are only getting a drizzle or a drip. They're not really getting a spray like you're seeing right here, but I'm pretty content with the amount of water it is delivering to the plants. Brian's got an ATV, so it makes it real simple for him to just grab 2 5-gallon buckets back at his house, fill them with water, and he can bring them out here, and rather than trying to individually water each plant, which takes time and has a tendency to erode the soil around the roots, he will be able to just dump it directly into one of these buckets. It'll only take him a couple of minutes. So I'm hoping that encourages him to get out here and make certain these plants get watered if we have another dry spell. Funny thing is, I finally get around to building this irrigation system today, and we had a pretty healthy downpour this morning. Yeah, and so you basically have it. I'll give you a side shot here of the trellis. We just went cheap this year to get it up. Those are not chemically treated boards. They're just pressure treated for use indoors, so they're pretty much going to be junk at the end of this year. I think they were 16-foot boards, and I sunk them about 3 feet into the ground, which might have been overkill. Oh, we're even getting rain right now. But you get this nice kind of bowing motion from the guy wires. Kind of looks cool. And the way I got these buckets strung up is I just got some big lag hooks from Fleet Farm, and this guy already had this 2x4 over here. The one over there, I just mounted a little chunk of 2x4 down below, so the bucket just sort of hangs, and that guy supports all the weight. Hopefully, and then I've got a little screw underneath sort of catching the lip of the bucket, so that hopefully if we get any wind, it doesn't just pull the buckets right off the trellis. These lids stick pretty tight, so I managed to crack this one, but the lids do have a couple of holes drilled in them so that they don't draw vacuum. And they've been running for about 15 minutes now, and looks like each bucket's delivered about a gallon and a half out onto the plants. So there you have it. Good job. If you didn't hear that, that was the dog puking. I have no kids this weekend, so I get to babysit this guy. Say hi, Otis. It's Otis the dog, everybody. And this was Pfister-Witz Farms.